Good evening, Mallory. We are here to help. We is us.
Good morning, Sam. We're very glad that you called upon us today.
And if you have any more questions, just dial 0 on any phone. Welcome. We are here to talk about Pluribus. It's a good time to be a big TV nerd. I am so excited to share this show with you. I'm so excited to jump back into some Vince Gilligan-ass directing and writing. We're here. We're talking. We're going to be out of date immediately after hitting the stop on the record button. It's a typical Nobody Leaves podcast.
Glory be to lesbians, Sam. We are here to celebrate an amazing victory for all lesbian kind. But yeah, we are going to be 2 episodes behind, unfortunately. So if you just watched episode 5, we're only up to episode 3, unfortunately.
Yes, this episode should be coming out the same day as episode 5 drops. We are in the past. Woo, spooky. The clock is counting down towards the Hive Mind Day as opposed to counting up beyond Hive Mind Day into the unknown future. So yeah, we're talking about the first 3 episodes of Pluribus today. But first, Mallory, how was your week? Did you watch anything else cool? Did you do anything else fun?
Well, Has Been Hotel is really good, Sam. If you
I'm glad to hear it. I've never heard of that show.
I've been enjoying it. Has Been Hotel Season 2. We got episodes 5 and 6 this week, so we are 2 away from the great finale. I'm very excited. A lot of amazing musical numbers packed into this one. And it's kind of crazy because, I mean, just giving you an early sneak peek, Season 1, I was like, there's too many musical numbers. They don't need 2 musical numbers an episode. Season 2, I'm like, wow, I love that there's like 4 musical numbers every episode.
Oh dear.
It's an interesting shift. I feel like it's just gone full Hamilton, full like actual musical in a way that I'm like, this benefits the series, honestly. But I don't know. I'm curious. What are your feelings on musicals in general? I feel like Hamilton's the only one that's really clawed its way into your icy heart in the past.
Yeah. Hamilton's definitely, like, in terms of a musical I can, like, recall every song of, yeah, it's Hamilton. You know, I'm basic. I like history and stuff, and I like the rap music and trying to make, like, a rap album that's also, like, a crash course video or whatever. Hamilton's fun. It had its moment. I know people now like to be, like, poo-poo about it because it was a little overblown or whatever. But, musicals for me generally gonna be a does not want, you know. I've been avoiding the Wicked hype, Wicked Part 2 or whatever is coming out in a week or so.
Yeah,
and I think that's gonna be the trend for Sam. Is when there was all the singing and dancing, there's less plot, and that kind of makes me sad. And I know that you can tell the plot in the singing and the dancing, but it usually does not resonate with me as much because I do not break out in a song in my regular day-to-day life. Maybe I should change that.
Unlike me, I love emotions. I love to break out into song. I love a good cry. I feel like musical is like cutting through all the like BS of plot in a way to just like get to the part where you go, they love each other. You know, like it's
characters, nice. They're telling me exactly how they feel. I love it. Yeah, no,
it's nice.
I recognize that it is an art form and this and that. Like, I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum.
Of course.
But I typically, when someone goes, I can talk, I can sing, I get a little like, yeah, you could also not, you know, like maybe we don't have to sing. Maybe we can just, like, drink and watch the Golden Girls, and that tells you about the character.
Yeah, but I will say on the other hand, okay, like Pluribus, great show, not to start our review too early, but
I'm ready, but anytime you want to pull that
I am too.
Let me get on Air Force One, baby. We're going.
When I watch Pluribus, it's a good show. It stirs up a lot of feelings in me. And my feeling is, I want to listen to a song that will like keep me in the emotional space of where those feelings are. And
You don't want to like analyze like the position of Reese Horn's eyebrows to be like, how is Carol feeling about this situation?
I don't want to like look at which like direction her eyes look to tell whether she's like lying or yeah, no, it's like I want to like stay in the emotions in the moment or whatever, and I'm having to look to like other songs that kind of like vaguely remind me of that. One of which was a song that I've been listening to all week that is like the gays are winning in Hespen Hotel this week. That's basically like they had an episode with like just
were they losing
a lot of success. No, they've never really been on a downturn, but this was like they had the Pride episode. It felt like in not in a way of like being like objectively like Pride, but in a way of like this is what you freaks want, right? But I like some simple stupid stuff sometimes, and yeah, Husband's nice. I like it. Sam, what are you into this time?
That's a great question, Mallory. Nothing. I haven't been watching anything. I read a marathon 48 hours ago, and I feel like someone beat me to death with a pipe. And then I rose from the grave. So yeah, all I've been doing is like lying in bed, sore from either running or training before the run, and reading manga. I have reread and read some of for the first time all of Hunter x Hunter, which is a delightful manga series. Series I came to from the anime, but I was like, let me go back and reread. Let me experience this story again, because I've forgotten some of the bits and pieces in manga form. It's really good. I may be noodling on a video for it that may or may not come out. Probably not, because I'll like lose interest by the time it's time to make it. But Hunter x Hunter's weird, right? Because the author is like the poster child for, mangaka put their body through so much pain and they often don't finish their series because they like have debilitating like back issues or health problems from the grind, right? That is the author of Hunter x Hunter is like famously an example where like he has like very serious back problems, and there was a period where he was like, I've learned how to do manga while lying flat on my back or flat on my stomach.
Jeez.
It's one of those series that like everyone who experiences it loves it, and then it's like, it's a good year. We got 3 chapters, and it probably is only going to take another 400 to wrap things up. So that's, kind of sad. It's definitely not going at a clip like a One Piece or something that's been consistent for years and years. One Piece, I would say, is more of the outlier in that scenario. Like, I feel like a lot of long-running manga have this unfortunate petering out, and that's a bummer, because the most recent arc of the manga, which is the only thing that's not been animated, is really good. And I'm currently at that point in my reread, because I did read that back when I finished the anime, and it is... Do you like characters? This character's got 23 associates. This character's a member of a group of 13 people. They interact with these people. There's 14 princes, and they all have different mothers, and there's a king, and there's an evil organization, and there's a and everyone's on a boat that looks like a cute whale, and that's, it's a good time. One day I want to do the Hunter x Hunter pitch to you at some point, but I don't know how to do it, because it is like 110 episodes or something. I don't remember how long the anime is. And what I really want to do is pitch you one arc from it that you can just like absorb like in the middle without having to know too much background. Yeah. But unfortunately, that arc is also the longest arc. And it's like, I've never seen a series do this where it's like, it hits this point and it's like, all right, we're about ants now. You thought we were about fighting tournaments and like people who are hunters and whatever that means. No, we're about these weird alien ants, and we're going to be about it. This thing is like, say this anime is like 70 episodes long. The remaining 50 are going to be about ants. And it's the most compelling, bizarre, awesome storyline I have like ever seen. Like I have, and I know this is very polarizing to people. Like some people love it, some people hate it. I want a chimera. I'm just gonna say the word chimera ant, and someday you're gonna know what that means, and it's gonna make me very happy. So yeah, that's my week.
Sam, what if I say no? What if I say I don't want to know what a chimera ant is? What would happen then?
Well, I would say that we are us and you are going to be us, and we're working tirelessly around the clock to make sure that you are absorbed into the Hunter x Hunter fandom.
It's kind of a psychic glue capable of binding us all together.
Okay. Hey, we're talking about Pluribus. Guess what? Ba 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 ba. We're in the Pluribus section now, it sounds like. We got to establish real quick some language. What are we calling them? Are we just calling them the hive mind? Like, what's the terminology?
We're called Pluribus, Sam. I don't know
All
if you
right.
saw the title of the show, but I'm pretty sure it's called Pluribus. I've seen Pluribus thrown around. Crazy word.
Here's my dumb question, and I know you looked up the Latin beforehand. I know the Latin means like of one many. Is the word pluribus referring to the many or the one?
Yes.
If we call them the pluribus, are we like, oh yeah, the one? I guess that could also work, even if we have it wrong or backwards.
It could work, but yeah, pluribus means many, unum means one. So like, cause
Gotcha.
Unum, unicycle,
yeah,
uniform.
that makes sense.
Uno,
yeah, I follow now.
Plural, yeah. So
I'm a bit of an idiot sometimes, but I follow.
Well, it took me a minute. I only realized it in the moment, so that's probably kind of why I said it, to be honest. Yeah, Latin, everybody. Welcome to the Pluribus section. Once again, reminding we've only seen through episode 3. If you skip the intro, we have not seen 4, and we have not seen the episode that comes out today, episode 5. But we definitely will be watching it. So I don't know if you want to.
Oh yeah.
If you want to click on our socials, if you want to see some interesting, like bleats. What are we calling Blue Sky? I'm on Tumblr.
Idea.
Find my
That's
Tumblr.
Find your Tumblr. It's out there.
I'm already posting about my favorite Toxic Yuri ships. So Sam, Pluribus, what a show! What a crazy
Mallory,
show.
You've never watched any Vince Gilligan Breaking Bad verse thing, right? Like this is all new to you.
I've watched like kind of video essays about Breaking Bad. I know that's terrible.
Sure. No, I understand.
I don't know. I should just watch it, but yeah. Yeah.
Well, not to overstate it, he's easily my favorite TV creator. Like, hey, guess what? TV nerd likes Breaking Bad, like, more at 11. Just giving you a little bit of background, Vince Gilligan made Breaking Bad, like, the core showrunner of Breaking Bad, and then a co-creator and, like, guest director of Better Call Saul. He was mostly involved in, like, the beginning and end of that show. And then there's a middle chunk where, like, one of his core collaborators from Breaking Bad steered the ship for most of Better Call Saul, but then he came back and directed some cool episodes, and like the vibe and tone is very similar. And then he also made the Breaking Bad movie. He's a cool TV show creator in my mind because he basically has never stopped working with the same team. Not almost everyone, but many of the directors and writers and staff and setting of Breaking Bad obviously carries over into Better Call Saul, but then also into Pluribus, where, like, this show could have been set anywhere. It's in Albuquerque, New Mexico. You know what was set in Albuquerque, New Mexico? Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. And as soon as I started watching it, even though this is, like, not an AMC show and it's on Apple TV and they got oodles of money, I'm awash with, like, nostalgia and, like, comfort. I'm in a warm blanket of, like, I recognize these styles of shooting. I recognize these, like, leaning into cool character actors and weird little things. Like, I'm just so excited to be back in this style of TV making and style of writing because it is like crack cocaine to me. I love it, but I really want to hear how you feel about it because this is new to you and I'm excited.
Well, Sam, I will say when I watched episode 1, and you were very specific. You said, "Don't look up anything about what this show is. I want you to go in blind. I'm not giving you anything." I watched episode 1, and I was like yelling at my phone, "I hate this. I'm so upset." I was despondent. I was losing it. I was like, I don't know. When you're just watching like the virus escape and you're just like completely powerless to do anything about it. Mm-hmm. There was extreme levels of upset. I was in absolute despair, but I was absolutely hooked and thrilled, and had to keep watching. It's interesting because this is like the same reason that I mentioned before. The reason why I dropped off of Breaking Bad was like me and my mom tried watching it, and I think it's like episode 2 or 3 where the like acid cuts through the bathtub and makes the dead body fall through, and me and my mom just looked at each other and were like, "This is too much." Like I think we're just gonna kind of put this one on hold and like, you know, enjoy from the sidelines, because it's intense. And
yes, Breaking Bad, like famously, one of the most like celebrated, but also like the like, okay, hold on, because we're going pilots ever, where it's like, okay, we're gonna start with like a character trying to off themselves, and then also like maybe have a standoff with the police. Like Walter White nearly gets caught trying to make meth like instantly.
Right.
Like frame 1 of Breaking Bad, it's like, okay, hold on, motherfucker. And then Better Call Saul, not as much, but somewhat as well. And then good at pilots apparently, Vince Gilligan, for whatever reason. I really didn't want you to know the premise because I knew just like the 2-sentence premise, and that was enough for me to be like, okay, well, I know what's happening. Like, I know what the virus is doing to people, and I think it would have been more interesting to not know it and to discover it with Carol. And like, how long did it take you to realize, like, oh, all of these people are connected? Like, was it when everyone stood up in unison at the hospital? Was it when they were talking to her through the TV? Like, when did you have a grasp on like the mechanics of the pilot?
I mean, really, it was the scene, the horrifying scene where they are in the like it's way earlier than any of that. It's when they're still in the original like science lab where they like develop this virus and it gets out, and they're all like moving in like robotic kind of silent perfect unison. Right. And like you know, like creating petri dishes and like swabbing the insides of their mouths in this like perfect harmonious like robot like fashion, and they're all like kind of smiling uncomfortably at like random times.
And they're like making room for new people to come in and join the table like before they've even like opened the door, and it's like
and
the
zero communication
the exact
thing.
Same.
Yeah.
And even though it's like one of them's like the pizza guy, it looks like, and it's like
right, yeah, like this the security guards and the scientists and the janitors are all are immediately on the same level. I think that's where it's like, oh my God, I hate this. But to be clear, when I'm saying I hate this, it's like
you're saying it's very effective against you.
Yeah, it's really good TV, and it's like it makes everything else in the show better. And like sometimes it's got to take you to a scary place in order to like you know, it like the highs will never be as high as they are because of like how insane it is. And I like that it doesn't shy away from the horror. Like it's really, you know, emphasizing it. Yeah, crazy intro. Once we get to like episode 2 and episode 3, I'm like grinning from ear to ear, and I'm just so happy, and I'm just like, wow, like this is amazing. I'm all the way on board. Really good show.
I'm having to stop myself from being like, let me go back to the full history of everything Vince Gilligan's ever done. But there's a sense of humor that this show has that Better Call Saul definitely had and Breaking Bad also had, where it's like, oh, that body just melted through the floor. That's horrifying, but it's also kind of funny. Like there are so many moments and little lines, especially when we start like interacting with the hive mind directly, that are just hysterical. The chyrons, like the titles under the Department of Agriculture deputy who's talking to Carol are so incredible of like, no, we can't read minds. We are not aliens. Like, it's like, I can feel the hive mind being like, all right, what do we write here? Put we can't read minds. She seems really worried about the reading minds thing. And it's like, even as I'm scared and she's terrified and like she's sitting in this dark house looking at like the presidential like press room and being like, what is happening? I'm also just like already starting to chuckle. It's good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you were mentioning that's like, I think that is easily one of the best scenes, like when she's on the phone with what you think, what is like functionally the president, kind of like standing in the, like making that kind of speech. The line that I wrote down from that, this was like one of the, beyond, other than like, we just want to help Carol, like that was the first line that I wrote down.
Right, that's like the trailer line, and it's like, ooh.
Of course, yeah, but the when he's explaining it and he goes, it's kind of like a psychic glue, is so funny. It's delivered in a way where he says it's like a virus, but no, it isn't. And it's like thinking, like that's when you really start to clock into like, oh, this isn't like an omnipotent, like, you know, terrifying force. It like is potentially still very sinister, but it doesn't like, it's being genuine and honest in a way, as far as
probably,
we can tell.
Right?
Right.
Like it doesn't seem capable of lying to Carol necessarily, but it seems like it is actively sanitizing what it says to her, right? In terms like it doesn't want to tell her later on like how many people that she unintentionally killed. But in that moment, it's like, if you take it at face value, then they got a signal from aliens, probably, but they themselves are not aliens. Like it answers all of those questions that you, the audience, have from like just seeing the sequence, like pretty much immediately. And then it's like, all right, you're in the situation. What would you do, audience? What will Carol do? But there's like throwaway lines, like what the disconnect between the Pluribus and Carol is played for laughs, obviously, a lot, but it's also it does a good job of like, you understand why she's so upset, like obviously with her wife and everything else, but also like the way they like callously like throw things out, like, oh yeah, the president, he did not make it through this process. Like, I mean, but so we got the deputy of agriculture, like that's pretty much the same, and he was wearing a suit, and it's like, it's telling Carol, hey, your country has fallen, but we want to help. Like, we're just here to have a good time, and we thought it'd be more comforting to you if we put someone like this white old man politician in a suit, because that's what you're familiar with. But knowing that is terrifying. Like, anytime that it shows its hand and is like, well, we're doing this based on, you liked this breakfast in 2012 and you told the waiter, and we have the waiter, he's one of us, we are us, so we took that information and we tried to manipulate you because we want you to be happy. And that's horrifying.
Yeah. No, it's so good. It's like the desperation to please is such a fun mechanic to throw into this like sci-fi show, and the sci-fi element where, like, you know, Severance or something, like, to pick up like obviously another big TV show that's like kind of in this
probably
genre.
The most similar thing that we have covered on this podcast so far.
Definitely. But like in terms of like recent, but like all these kind of like speculative fictions type of like shows and that kind of thing, like so often it's like a sinister, like all powerful, all knowing enemy. And I love the trend of depicting like more buffoonish kind of like foes. Right. And I think that like this Pluribus hive mind, it's like, it's just missing the mark. It just keeps messing it up. And it's so genuine in like the way, like, you know, when Carol says stuff that like upsets it so much that it malfunctions and kills like 11,000 billion people, like it's, you know, it's like, oh, it really hadn't considered that. You know what I mean? Or like,
right. It's not. It doesn't seem to be malicious, but it is like killing her with kindness. And I think the tagline for the show is like, what if the most miserable person on earth had to save the world from happiness? And it's like, what does that mean? What does saving the world from happiness mean? Shouldn't being happy be a good thing? Well, in a lot of ways, the show is very clearly showing like, oh boy, this is horrifying. But also like, there's a wish fulfillment to it too, of like, I think you could have a very fun 2 weeks in this scenario if you didn't just lose your life partner.
right.
It's obviously a more interesting show to have Carol be this person who was not having a good time in life beforehand, despite being a very successful creator of the 4th book in the Romantasy trilogy, which I thought was a very fun dig and just a little jab at her character. And like this kid, like, yeah, we'll get into that. I think that'll be a fun conversation. But the premise is just fascinating because it's like this is not a bad thing yet so far. I'm sure we'll learn more about the hive mind that will continue to be horrifying. Initial thing for me is like, did they know that going like wide with the Pluribus virus would kill like roughly like 1/7 of the world? How'd they make that calculation? How do they think? That's like that's the main thing I want to know is like, what would they do if Carol asked them this, right?
Yeah. Like, and that's a lot of the fun of the show is like, as she progresses through these different stages and starts like making different asks and demands, like obviously the most interesting one in at the end of episode 3 being like, how far can I push it? Can I get like a atom bomb? Will like you give me an atom bomb? And they're like, ultimately yes. Like that being their conclusion. Even though like, you know, they're not lying, but there's also maybe a sense that like there's a lot of hesitation and like dissuading to where like if she did actually ask that, like would they want to alert the other, you know, non-affected people, or would they like would they hoodwink her because they don't want to say no, but they're like, okay, we need to make Carol think that she's detonated an atom bomb in order to keep her happy or something like that. Like, what do they have anything that they're actually going to prioritize over like her
over
happiness?
pleasing
and the answer
these people, right?
Yeah, and it's like some things kind of, it seems like, but it's not clear. Like a lot of commentary and speculation I've seen is like, okay, it seems like potentially, even though that they're primarily like their biological directive is to continue to spread and to create like some sort of mutation or alteration that is going to like
assimilate her and the other 12
remaining.
right into the
and
I have a fun name for the 13. Do you want to hear it?
Okay. Yeah.
This is how I've been referring to them in my mind the whole time. I've been thinking of them as unicorns because she drives the unicorn truck in the first episode, and a unicorn is like a rare mythical thing. I'm sure that's intentional because it's a very Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul would do this shit all the time where they'd have like funny things in the background or funny symbols or whatever that you could like sit there and be like, oh yeah, that does equal that or whatever. Her driving the unicorn decal truck is both a funny joke, like inherently, but also a funny bit of symbolism if you want it to be. And I've got a couple more that I'll bring up throughout the episode. But so I've been calling the 13, which is also a baker's dozen with donuts. Hey, I've been calling them the unicorns, and I think it's fun.
I love that. Yeah. So the unicorns, like, would they tell the other unicorns? What do they have like underhanded motives? Would they at any point like try to deceive, like Carol or the others, like intentionally? Like right now,
they
it's
lie
like,
to her, right?
Yeah, like a lot of it is like they do obviously have motives of like trying to deflect like information that might seem like harmful, but is there any stuff that they're like fully concealing? You know what I mean? That it's like, well, we, you know, and is their only motivation to conceal that information because they're distressing her, or would they have like other, and I think
motives,
there
right.
are. Yeah, there are hints. I saw like another piece of speculation. I know I'm like just reading stuff online, but it was like that.
No, go for it.
Like the rat, the idea that the
Uh-huh.
rat is like playing dead initially,
Right.
and that is what gets him. It's fully possible that that's not actually what happened. It's more complicated than that, but it kind of
leaves it
seems like
ambiguous,
that's
right?
what happened. Yeah.
Was the rat going through, like, as part of the process
The
of becoming part of
convulsions.
the hive mind? Yeah, you go through like a 2-minute convulsion period or what have you. They don't specify an exact time window, but it seems to take like a handful of minutes, and then you are back. A question I keep coming back to is, did Helen die because she fell and hit her head as part of the process, or does the process just have like a 1 in 7 fail rate? Like, obviously,
Right.
anyone who was flying at the time of the mass assimilation are dead because the planes crashed, because the pilots convulsed or what have you. You got to assume that 700 million figure, or like 800 million, whatever it was, like a little under 1 billion people died in that like assimilation day. And you got to assume most of those are traffic accidents or what have you. But how many are just like, or are any of them just the person rejected the process, like their brain exploded?
Right.
And is that what happened to Helen?
Yeah.
And I don't know if we'll ever get an answer on that, or maybe we will, and it will like color Carol's opinion of the hive mind even like worse than that. She already doesn't like them,
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, because the other thing is like, is there some like, does it have something to do with their mental state? Is there some emotional through line to the reason why like did Carol like reject, like did Carol say I don't want to be the hive mind and the only option was to like kill her or something? You know what I mean? I think that's kind of where my mind initially went.
You mean
I don't
Helen?
really know if that's yeah, sorry, Helen. Yeah, Carol is obviously the living one.
Right.
But yeah, I think like it's hard to say. It seems unlikely. I think especially after we've met like a group of like 5 other unicorns. I love that term. I really hope it takes off. Is that they don't really seem to have a lot in common, at least on the surface. It's very possible that like we could learn more details about these characters and start to like notice like through lines, but the idea that
it seems like the X factor seems to be just like a genetic mutation. It doesn't seem
exactly
they don't seem to have anything similar about them.
Yeah, because it's also like if it was some sort of like emotional thing, like because I think in my mind, because I think also like because I afterwards I also saw the tagline about like an unhappy person having to save the world from happiness. Like, it's like I think that kind of keys you into be like, okay, is it Carol's like cynicism is like that the reason why she's immune, and like that is when we only have Carol, that's like a potential thing that we could have latched onto.
Right.
But the idea that there's a certain personality trait or a way of thinking that is only present in 13 people in the entire human population doesn't seem likely. So I would also like lean more towards the
I think
idea
she's
that it's just random.
the most miserable person in the world now because there's only 13 people in the world.
Yeah.
Right. Even still, it seems like the guy running the self-storage facility who she like yells at on the phone, he seems to be pretty he might be in the running for the most miserable person, right? I like that there's like they have an even more problem child the hive mind are dealing with, where they're like, yeah, he's been kind of mean to us as well. Like we've had similar issues contacting him. Which is fun.
Definitely.
There's so many places this can go. I want to before we dive into more like scenes, I want to hear what episode 3 has a lot to do with, like what the hive mind will and will not do. What in your mind are the rules of the hive mind right now? Because I have mine, but they're all based on like conjecture and assumptions and what have you. Like, what can the hive mind do? What can it not do in your mind? How's it work?
Well, I think that I'm leaning towards. I think that the Chat GPT large language learning model I think there's too many L's in that one. I think I may have misspoken. I think
LLM,
that they're yeah, it's LLM. So is it just language learning model? Large? I feel like large.
I feel like large is in there. I'm dumb, and I also don't like AI, so I don't bother
see,
giving it my time of day.
And that's the beauty is like an LLM would never make a mistake like I did. Okay, that was a beautiful mistake. That's the nature of being human. So I think that like parallel is like really obvious. So I think a lot of my thinking about what I anticipate the rules of this hive mind to be is like based on my knowledge of like how those things work. Where it cannot harm people directly type of thing is
right.
Not 100% true because it did make a, I guess, utilitarian calculation in that, like, because they did state the really interesting detail, which is so crazy, of like the U.S. military was onto them, and then they had to, and that's why they had to like all of a sudden take everyone over rather than do it slowly and gradually, because
they're able to make like
they were
life
pressed.
and death calculus if they need to, right? Like,
yeah,
it seems like. So they said, we estimate that a couple 100 million people will die or what have you, and it was more than we expected. I think they say that as well. But we decided to go wide with the virus faster and more chaotically because we assumed that would minimize loss of life as opposed to the military catching on, and you could see that going insane. Like if it was just if they didn't make the virus airborne, and it's like, are you a Pluribus? Are you a Pluribus? And that would be like a crazy sci-fi violent show, as opposed to like it'd be more of like a zombie apocalypse, as opposed to, oh, they just won already. Like if it was like hive mind versus humanity, hive mind won, humanity lost. It's over.
Which I was dreading that. I was a little worried that it was going to be a zombie show, and I was like, don't need that. But no, it's like, they fully won, and they got everyone they could have gotten. These are the only immune people. But I think that so that detail is very interesting because it's like when they're presenting those two options of like, our only options were to continue to move slowly and have a fight with the military and potentially lose more life, or to do it fast and like unfortunately like lose a bunch of people. It's like, well, the other option is you didn't have to do anything at all. But so that to me indicates that there is a survival incentive at the very least, and the way they behave, like they do behave deceptively and forcefully, and that's like the underlying frustration I think that Carol has, where they speak about things of like we're freaking vegan and we heal everything and we don't want to hurt anyone, and it's like, but they did do it by force, like the forceful attempts, the forceful like kissing of her, like I think there's pretty clear like assault kind of like parallel thing. It's like they are pushing themselves onto like them, because as they say, like if you saw someone drowning, like, would you throw them a life raft? You wouldn't think twice, like that kind of thing.
Right.
So,
which feels
to answer
very,
your question,
it feels very Silicon Valley algorithm coded, right? Like we're just trying to predict what you want or you yourself want, and like you can draw many parallels to technology. I think technology is what most people are going to immediately, of like, this feels like AI, this feels like, but you could also apply it to like political ideology and this and that, of like, you'll be happier if you come under our tent. You'll feel better, right? Like, it.
So yeah, sorry
go back to the
say
rules.
The rules, because I want to hear yours as well. But yeah, I based on all of that knowledge and my thinking about it, I think that it doesn't seem like it can create new things in a way. Like it doesn't seem capable of having like spontaneous original ideas, and that is maybe
new thoughts.
New thoughts. That is maybe me, like, because I'm projecting ChatGPT onto it, I'm like maybe missing things, but it does, like, I think the conversation that she has with it in the form of Zosha in like this episode where like she just starts listing fun facts about. Did you know that the etymology of whiskey, like it
This
can
is
just
so fun.
only
This is your
recite
first rule,
facts.
because like I don't even know if that rule's true. Like I love that we have different
Right.
interpretations of it. But yeah, please keep going.
That's-
I'm fascinated by this.
Yeah, and again, this is conjecture because it's like we can speculate this is true until we see like, oh no, they unambiguously created something. You know what I mean? But
Right.
I do kind of feel like it might not be able to, like, you know, actually create a thing that will like bring the others in.
I'm with you. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, we're working around the clock to find a solution. So are they doing genetic research? Like, do they have people? Is the girl from TGI Fridays in like the CDC lab, like, you know, mixing it up? Like, what does that
Yeah.
mean? Are they capable
Or are they
of finding a solution?
They maybe don't even know their own limitations. That's also
Mm-hmm.
possible. I think that they do legitimately only have the knowledge of people that they have, you know, made join the Pluribus. Like
Yes.
I saw
don't
a lot
think
of
they can read Carol's
stuff
mind.
about that, and I also have seen a lot about like aliens. I truly don't think the aliens are like connected. I think that it is just the humans that just kind of seems,
Right.
and potentially some animals, but that just kind of seems more interesting to me. I think.
Well, it's yeah.
Personally.
I think it. I'm accepting the premise as it is, which is that they just have the whole of human knowledge, in the sense that they have every human that was alive during that still is currently alive, other than the unicorns, and all of their memories. So they have like both like their like factual knowledge and expertise, and then also like their emotional knowledge. Like we know what Helen felt about this or that, or like the other thing. And let's go to another rule. Before I just go on,
Yeah.
every one
I
of
think-
these I can like go off and talk about for like an hour.
No, for sure. I think I have my last two though, which I think is that it seems like they're not necessarily rules as much as drives, but I guess they're kind of both. But yeah, it's like I feel like it has a drive to survive and a drive to serve and please. And I think that and a drive to maybe not feel negative emotions. Like there's maybe a like
Right.
because negative emotions create conflict, it can no longer function almost as like a hive mind. So it's
It
possible
short
that
circuits
drive
them,
to
right? Or she does.
yeah, exactly, because it's possible that like all those billion voices inside of it are now fighting when it is feeling negative emotions, but when they're all working towards a positive goal that kind of like brings them together in the same direction. So it's almost like I don't know if it's a rule as necessarily as it's like an adaptation to survive potentially. But yeah, I think that they don't want to lie, and they do want to please her, and they do want to survive. So that's maybe a better way of saying those three rather than their rules, because I think we've already seen in these early episodes, we've already seen these like different desires come into conflict, and we've seen like the drive to survive overpowered the drive to like, you know, please people because
100%.
they made that life or death calculation, but also maybe that was also trying to please people. Like it's really hard to say like what their ultimate ranking of priorities is going to be, or if they've even decided it yet. Those are my rules.
So a ranking is a good way to put it. Like in terms of the rules, like what they've told Carol is like, we want her to fly if we can help it, and we're loving it. Being in a hive mind's great. Like we think this is the bee's knees or whatever.
Yeah.
Those are like the two main things that they've told her. We do not know what their in game looks like. Like, hey, we get all 13 people into the hive mind, and then what? What happens? You just have
Right.
an Earth that's like the most efficient version of Earth of all time. Like, what does to what end, right? I've been thinking of it like as like if then statements, or a ranking is a good way to put it. So like above all else, the prime directive is we must make every single person a part of the hive mind if possible. We are going to continue that goal. If Carol asks us to stop working on that, we will tell her no. If Carol's request does not say, or any of the 13, does not say, stop working on your prime directive, then we're on level 2, and that is, we'll do it. We'll give you an atom bomb. Where it gets complicated is, they also... What would happen if Carol asked them to kill one of the other unicorns? Or what would happen if... An atom bomb's a big deal, right? So it seems like level 2 is more prioritizing over level 3, which is do no harm. Because setting off an atom bomb would inevitably kill a lot of flies or a lot of bugs and also probably other people, right? But they tell her they cannot refuse that request. So like that level 2 is a higher priority than do no harm. And then we're in that ambiguity between these 3 levels, right?
That's like the guy. Oh my god, I'm forgetting his name with the amazing suit. Like that's what he says is like, because they're talking about meat. He's like trying to figure out like, can he procure like meat in any ways? Like, okay, if I like killed a fish and then like asked you to prepare it, would you
prepare it?
And they were
right.
like, yeah, we'd grieve the fish, but we would like still serve the food to you, because it's already dead.
Right.
So it's like,
and then the atom bomb is the more extreme version of that. It's like taking that logic to its natural conclusion, which is like, I can kill as many people as I want, and you will enable me to do it, and maybe even help me do it, but you will not press the button yourself or whatever.
And also, and yeah, it's like crazy because like clearly an atom bomb, like at that point, the existence of the like Pluribus itself is threatened. It's like,
yeah,
it is seemingly willing to go with her to a crazy degree. And yeah, like you said, I think there's been a lot of speculation of like, if like Laxmi doesn't like Carol, if Laxmi says, all right, kill Carol, like is right. Carol's like sitting like talking about her feelings to like oh my god, Lucia, yeah, and all of a sudden she just stabs her because she was told to. Like what is the prioritization? Are all 13 like, are they of equal priority? Like because right. It seems like I don't know. It seems like
the Pluribus thinks it is like a perfect system, and the unicorns inherently, they're like the dead pixel on the monitor. Like they inherently like are a constant reminder that their system is not perfect. And I think it's more so that like pressing against their like logic system that affects them more than like it's negative emotions or whatever. Like, cause like Carol's negative all the time, but right. like her being violent with the Pluribus is what's done the triggers so far. Like she pushes Zoja against the car and she pushes one of the attendants like off of her. That is what causes the mass stroke that kills like
right.
millions of people. I've killed more people than Stalin. Like, oh my god. But so like, is that because I'm more, my interpretation of this so far, based on nothing but my own conjecture, is that her being physical, like physically attacking a member of the hive mind, it's like these 2 priorities cannot coexist, which is please Carol and defend ourselves. And Carol actively hurting them means that they seemingly can't attack or hurt her physically, but they can, but they have to defend themselves, and so it breaks.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like it seems as though, so that's the thing. There's this like eerie sense of safety almost of like they cannot kill her, and like I think if it was a command, like I don't know that like she can send assassins to the other unicorns to have them all right. killed. You know what I mean? It truly seems like they are prioritized above all else, which also raises a lot of questions. It's like, is it about there's a lot about bees, Yeah. She's wearing a yellow jacket. Are they looking for a hive queen? Are these like their candidates for like,
they've unintentionally became that but I don't know if that was ever. I don't believe that was ever part of the original calculus. But that's like that's what's happened because of this unexpected mutation. Is my interpretation of it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think ultimately, probably the safest theories is that the Pluribus doesn't actually know what it's doing, and a lot of these like priorities are crashing into each other, and it's kind of figuring it out as it goes. Like you,
boy, that sounds familiar. That sounds real familiar. Let's just break it and see what happens. Let's just break everyone's mind and see what happens.
It's a lot of parallels to real life, unfortunately. But yeah, it's truly it's like I mean and I've seen like people like already praising this like acting job by the guy at the end of episode 3 who's like the
gotcha the DHL agent.
Yeah.
Side note, by the way.
Yeah.
DHL is like one of the main clients of the company I work for. That's all I'll say about that. So I was like, I see their like yellow and red logo, and I was so triggered. And then on top of that, it's like this horrifying conversation. And I really like that the show uses real brands and whatnot. I think it adds to it. I've seen some people like being like, "Oh, there's a big Sprouts commercial or whatever." I think it totally
TGA
works.
Fridays.
It's like.
Yeah,
it's way more eerie to have the TGA Fridays lady with the fucking buttons and the suspenders driving your Cessna. It's like incredible.
No, absolutely. Yeah, but I think that. Oh no, what was I saying? Oh no. Oh, fuck.
I took you off the path. I'm sorry. DHL.
Oh, the guy.
To her. Yeah.
Yes.
He
does a really good job of acting, and one of the best parts is when he is thinking about what to do with the request for an atom bomb. It truly seems like he's thinking, and I don't know that it's acting on the part of the hive mind. Like, it does just truly seem like they haven't figured it out, and they're figuring it out together. You know what this series really reminds me of? And I really... Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I want to hear it.
Yeah. Truly, and we've watched it on this podcast, and if you're a Pluribus fan and you like gay people and you want to see more, you should check out Summer Hikaru Died, because it really has that same vibe of like, you know, eldritch being that isn't actually that sinister and malicious, and maybe has done some bad things to like maintain power or its own safety or its own survival, but is like something inhuman, like learning human emotions, like that dynamic. It's all there. Like it really does feel like just kind of stupid in weird ways.
Many different actors on this show have to do the role of like, I'm calculating behind the scenes. Like, you can see in my eyes that 6 billion voices are talking at once and trying to like come up with the perfect solution. And you can feel like the gears turning on like a massive scale. And I think anytime a random one-off character actor is able to do that, it's so impressive to me, because it's like, I feel it. Like, I feel like, oh, I've just poked Carol has just like poked a giant bear, a world-sized bear that is like sitting there like pondering, and it's really good. This show could go anywhere, but it's also so limiting. It's essentially like a one-woman play. There's 2 characters. There's Hive Mind and Carol, and occasionally one of the other 13. Like, it's so limiting, and then also infinite in its possibilities, and that's what's like so exciting about it.
Yeah, the shout out to the scene where they're leaving Sprouts and they have 3 people deliver the same line in continuity. Like, that's the fun stuff. That's when you know the show is like, okay, let's have fun with this premise. Like, what are all the hilarious things we could do with it? Like, so good.
Okay, here's another like, oh man, I'm watching a Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul team made show. Carol's like sitting in the grocery store waiting for everyone to like leave, and it's like goes to get her cart, and just framed perfectly behind her is like a Sprouts advertisement. Every meal is a choice. That is some fucking Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul shit. And I was just like, it's such a little thing, but someone thought about it. They have such a good unified showrunner team of like production people, and like, oh, what if we just made this scene like 10% better? And it's excellence in TV writing, and it's also hysterical. I was like jumping out of my seat cheering when I was very sore from the marathon, being like, yes, that's an awesome detail. Like, it's so funny. Anyway.
Yeah, no, it's so good. It really, really is good. There's a couple, I feel like the two big things that I really want to talk about are, I guess, America and...
Oh my God, that's my number one.
Privilege?
I want to talk about, like, yes,
Okay.
that's my number
The
one
other
thing I want to
one-
talk about.
The other one, just to bookmark it, is Toxic Yuri. I think that's the other huge conversation that I think we need to be having.
I agree.
About this show. But
Welcome
yeah, do
to
you want to
hour
start
two of the podcast. We're going in.
Do you want to start with the America side, or?
Yes, watching episode 2 was when I was like, I have got to talk to Mallory about this specifically because
I love it.
It immediately makes me feel bad to be an American because Carol has become the only American and the only English as a first language person. And as an American, as someone who was raised in Western society, that is like scary, right? Like, it's like, oh, it's like such a paradigm shift. Like overnight, like we've lived in 150 years of like American dominance or Western thought dominance or what have you. But watching her in real time realize like how many assumptions she's making about the survivors, and having to like look inward and be like, I'm making a lot of the same assumptions. Like, obviously we all want to go back to how things were, right? That's a really American thing to think, right? It's on a global scale of haves and have-nots, America definitely falls into the haves column. So who would want things to go back to normal? An American. Who would maybe overvalue individuality over like collective good? An American. Like, the metaphors were brimming as they're sitting in Air Force One around the conference table chatting. But yeah, what was your reaction to... I'm assuming that the similar scenes is what started drumming this up for you.
Totally. I think that it's just so well... I mean, okay, they're on Air Force One, and then she takes the seat where there's like the little presidential seal behind it and is framed as like the president of this little group and is the one calling all the shots and like trying to shake people awake. And it is...
She comes in with a lot of white woman energy, you know?
Yeah, the entitlement. It's also crazy. Like one thing where I like felt a little bit like, okay, I may be a white woman, but I'm not that bad, was the I would have called everyone regardless of what language they spoke. I would not
such a telling detail. It's like, Carol, they're still people even though they can't communicate with you.
Yeah, like I understand the point is that she didn't want she wanted to be able to speak in private and she didn't want to be overheard.
Right.
But like
she fears the translation process would muddle things or be manipulated or what have you.
Yeah, but she's also like there's quite a bit of like it's like she clearly spoke enough Spanish to understand what was being said on the phone with like the one guy from like Paraguay or whatever. Like,
right.
She, and they, when they like all the other English speakers that she invites, all of them, it's like a second language for them, which is also a really fun commentary on the fact of like America being the only country where you don't have to learn a second language, or I mean like English speakers in general. But yeah,
could there have been a 7-group summit where everyone knows a little Spanish or everyone knows a little Hindi or what have you? Like, that's what's so fascinating
can we translate
about
through?
it.
Can we still use like translation apps and like dictionary? I don't know if like internet came back online or not. I don't know if that was made clear, but like...
But she didn't even consider it. Like, it's a very damning like moment for Carol's on the back foot in episode 2, and obviously that's part of it is that her negotiation skills are lacking when it comes to the other unicorns. But it's so funny, but it is deep. It is like interesting, and it's like if you're suddenly the only American, yeah, everyone else at the table has no reason to be like, oh, well, we got to adhere to the American and we got to have this conversation in English. And that's before you even get into like the crazy ethical dilemma of like, how would you feel if you had loved ones who were still alive? Like if Helen hadn't died, how would Carol's experience be compared to how it is now? The maybe the most like what the fuck head spinning moment to me is her bullying Lakshmi's son.
Yeah,
being,
making him say like gynecology
he's the best
details.
brain surgeon. Yeah, the gynecology one is it's a really funny line of like, yeah, he's also a brain surgeon. He's also your gynecologist. Like, and I do think the other unicorns are not taking this seriously enough, or maybe being too easily persuaded. But valuing individuality is so inherent to like the American Western experience or whatever. But if you were raised in like a Buddhist perspective or just a different philosophy, like how would you treat this experience? It seems like, for some of these folks at least, positively, right?
And I don't even think that all of them are like definitely Buddhists or whatever, right?
No,
but
100%.
Like,
I'm not saying that,
I know you're not saying that, but yeah.
I did not consider it until they were in the room together, and Carol did not consider it, and so it put me in my place, and it was also just like, this is the kind of mistake I would make if I was in Carol's situation. I'd like to think I would handle it a little bit better, but she's going through a lot, you know?
Right. Yeah. No, you have to be. I think the character. I enjoy a problematic lead. I think that the character
100%.
really is like walking that line of like, you know, making these mistakes and errors that are telling about what she prioritizes, but also is not like, you know, a demon from hell. You know, like she is.
There's a
like,
fun quote that's been going around for Vince Gilligan, which is essentially like, hey, I wanted to make a show with like a more traditional hero. I've been making like anti-hero like fail men as my leads for like a decade plus at this point, and I'd really like to like stop being in that dark place. So he considers Carol heroic or like morally good. It's obviously going to be more gray than that, but like he does not consider her to be like the Walter White or Saul Goodman anti-hero, which is a funny, interesting idea, despite the fact that he can't help himself. Because she is just the most miserable person on the world or whatever, right?
It's really funny.
I think that's like fascinating, and
yeah.
I also think she's definitely flawed.
I think, to me, the thing I think that really shunted me like out of her perspective and being like, this is how I'd react to this situation the most. I know that like everyone's obviously going to have their own little divergences or like overlaps or whatever, but I think the like biggest thing that made me be like was the honestly the book signing, and it's like and that's like her kind of introductory scene, because I think I'm just very like I'm pretty happy silly pilled, like I'm pretty pro, like, you know, not everything has to be that deep, babe, like, and it's fine. And I understand it could be like a little depressing of like, you know, clearly she has like this deeper work that she's more passionate about, and there's like also
which has the
whole,
most
like,
frou-frou, like, I'm gonna write my serious novel now. It's like the Chrysalis Cocoon or something.
the bitter
like,
is the bitter chrysalis. It's
this
literally
show is
like
so knowing about like it's making fun of itself, and it's like it's a creator. It's a show made by creators for creators or whatever. Like, oh, it's so
right. Good. It's doing the thing we mentioned in the Spy Kids episode, how noxious like writing about a writer can be. This is
100%.
being fully like, yeah, you being a writer, you're a jackass. Like, fuck you. Like, so funny. But
She's
it's
so petty.
It's like
she moves her book onto the top shelf as opposed to Diana Gabaldon or whatever. Oh my god.
She makes Carol,
continue.
or she makes I keep
Helen
mixing them
do
up.
it.
She makes Helen do it. Yeah, and it's like, I think that it is really fun. But yeah, I think that was like the big thing where when she was like talking bad about like the, like, you know, people who enjoy like male like I I have sat in rapt attention as people describe to me like what kind of like shitty male like fantasies that they want to enjoy or whatever. But obviously like there are deeper reasons for her resenting it. Like there's the like sexuality thing, like she's not able to write about what she actually likes, you know. But
to play the psychoanalyst corner for a second here, like it seems like her life has been a life of concessions. She wanted to make a lesbian romance fictional series, but she conceded to making it a more traditional heteronormative fictional series, and then found great success in that. And obviously that she's conflicted about that, and that I'd be pretty bitter too if like my biggest concession creatively also led to my most success. There's a little bit of like, I bet a lot of these folks who are writing this thing have been the leads of Comic-Con panels and had the guy come up and go, that's actually not how a sand skiff would work in real life, even though I'm talking about a mad flying boat going over sand.
It.
Like, you actually
awesome.
can't make meth with methylamine, and you'd have this problem. Like, I'm sure that they have had. It is a little bit like, hey, shut up, internet commenters. Like, just enjoy the book or whatever. The lady who was like, you gotta tell me what happens before I read it, and she just gives her the page number. Like, people can be annoying in that, like, creator-fan dynamic, but it definitely is painting her as negative, but it's still playful.
I think because like at the same time, I think it pretty clearly establishes her of like having this mindset of like, normies. Like there's a little bit of a kind of condescension and like looking down at the people around her that is like, I think indicative of like her attitudes towards the whole summit and the whole meeting, and the fact that she's so lonely. Like the fact that they don't send like, okay, here's your brother, here's your other best friend, here's your like your grandma like is showing up as a representative. Like she has no one, and the only person they think could possibly get through to her is someone that looks like her fantasy. Is like So
it's
telling.
I don't know,
but
and that's clear, like they're drawing on what they think would work from when they were last connected to Helen before she died, right? And so that also kind of implies that Helen, while like clearly a very faithful partner and a very patient partner, you want to talk about doomed Yuri, them in the ice hotel together, it's so sad because we have the knowledge that she's going to be dead in like 3 or 4 years, like whatever the time stamp was. And it's a classic. You don't know what you have until it's gone, right? It is dramatic. You want to call it dramatic irony. You want to call it just really sad. It's really sad.
Yeah.
Like, if I knew if I knew everyone on Earth was going to become a hive mind, I think I'd try harder not to be an alcoholic, right, or whatever. Like,
right.
I'm saying Carol. I'm not. I don't think I'm an
I
alcoholic.
know.
I hope not. But I realized that the language got a little complicated there.
Yeah. We
it's
understand.
A bummer, And there's so many, we understand. And the God, they stab her and they just turn the knife so often with the Helen stuff. Like that's another seemingly rule, is that they cannot forget things because her command it fails. So if you want to put that as like 1.5 on the level, she can't get them to like delete memories.
Yeah, and they seemingly can't keep themselves from like referencing that kind of information.
They can't help themselves.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry, getting back to the topic of like American supremacy or whatever, it's super interesting. Like the Sprout scene is so phenomenal. The whole individual thing, and this was like one I connected to more because I don't necessarily like go around being like normies, and I don't necessarily like I don't know that I would necessarily act the way that Carol did in like that scene.
I do know how it feels to be like have shame for one of your more popular things, right? Like not to brag here, I got a 1.6 million view video where I mispronounce Los Pollos Hermanos really badly. I didn't do it that well then. Go watch that video. I say it fucking horribly. And so I understand, like, the thing I'm known for, I have regrets about or what have you, and that's a minor thing. I would feel probably much worse if I wrote a book series I didn't care about that everyone wants to talk to me about at all times.
My
I'm
most
sympathetic,
viewed
is all I'm
thing
saying.
is a Sprigatito parody song. I'm pretty sure. So right there with you,
Pokemon
buddy.
parody song. Yeah. For now.
But yeah, I think for now. But yeah, I think that I did kind of like feel that of like because I do sometimes get in that like mindset of like I'm independent, I'm self-sufficient, like no one has to take care of me, no one has to worry about me, and her being like I just want to be able to like shop at the supermarket and like not have to, work like take care of myself. I just want to be able to take care of myself, and the 1,000 people from all quarters of the globe rearrange a huge supermarket just for her, and it's like
Right.
shattering that illusion. And it's also just like the social commentary is right there, where it's like, yeah, like you are dependent on so many people to be able to go to the grocery store and choose whatever you feel like for dinner. Like you are the farthest away from being independent, and it's like it turns out like what we value, and especially like people who are raised in like this American kind of individualist culture really really value is feeling like we're independent and feeling
Right.
like we're making choices. And that's
Even if the
and
pluribus had not
supermarkets-
happened,
yeah.
Carol is not capable of digging a hole on her own, or
Yes.
or going or growing her own food, or like doesn't know the first thing about like getting meat, which is now a weird wrinkle with the they can't kill thing. Like she's limited to frozen food for the rest of her life, presumably.
Right.
But yeah, the metaphor is like front and center with the sprouts, like, and it's interesting. So every person in the hive mind is like the number one expert in their field, right? But we often see them doing things that don't require a lot of individual thought. Like when they're worker bees, like anyone can stock a shelf, right? But what does it look like to be like the most absolute efficient stock shelfer? They put a store back together in an hour and a half, but it doesn't look that different from you and I have both stocked shelves in our lives. Like you and I have worked in retail before. Like it just makes me consider all these different things about like what is labor and what is expertise and what is like expectations of this and that. Like it's just weird. Like the choice by the pluribus to send her back home with two people who in their previous life were actually pilots just to make her feel better, even though it doesn't matter, even though they're all the same, is like it's funny. It's little jabs at like they're adapting to her by treating her stupid, like she's more stupid. Like
yeah, and there is like that through line of like I don't want to be treated like a kid that comes up like even with it feels like it's happening in the alcohol conversation when like her wife like Helen is like getting the Diet Coke and she's like no, I need a martini. Like she doesn't want kid stuff. She doesn't want to be stupid. She doesn't want to be one of the sheeple. She there's an ego there that's about like I want to be treated like an adult, which sometimes you're in that situation where in order to treat someone like an adult, you're kind of putting the kid gloves on and not being like how you would naturally behave. To like make them feel like you're a big tough man. You know what I mean?
There's the nothing, most telling detail to me is in the ice hotel where she doesn't want to tell her that they already got the news about where her placement is on the bestsellers list, because she's like she's withholding that information from her because she knows that Carol is going to obsess over it and ruin their good time, which the behavior, there's a lot of parallels between like how Helen treats her and how the hive mind treats her, and then obviously it gets super incestuous and weird with the character of Zoja, who is like a creation of Carol and Helen, and it plays into the lesbian stuff, and it plays into and like how she's constantly using information from Helen's mind, and Carol's like kind of fallen in love with her. Doomed Yuri, let's talk about it. Let's wrap up the conversation there, maybe.
Okay, yeah, Doomed Yuri.
Her holding up the book, I was
crazy.
I was shocked because that's like the setup of the second episode, the giant long take. Big Breaking Bad Better Call Saul move. We're going to show you, like, you better be along for the ride. We're going to show you 10 minutes of something with no context, and you're just going to be sitting there going, what are they up to?
When did it dawn on you that it was lesbians?
I did not. Oh, well, I knew that her and Helen were together, but I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know what they were going for with the Zsuzsa character until she holds up the book. Like, I realized it after Carol, and I was like, it's so horrifying. Like, this show keeps catching me off guard, where, like, even if I think I understand the rules, they find new ways to, like, trip me up and, like do psychic damage to me and to Carol, the character.
See, I kind of got it when she pulled out the George Clooney thing. When she was like, what? That's like an attractive man, right? What is an attractive man?
In terms of them being lesbians, I like that. That's also when I pulled that out. I more so mean what the hive mind was doing when they sent Zsuzsa. Like, they plucked her out of a random country, flew her halfway across the world to be like the representative for Carol. I did not get that was like a weird psychological play. And for a second, I was like, oh, is she supposed to look like Helen? Is that the goal? Because also the Raban character kind of looks like Helen, and that's very sweet and sad.
Right.
But I didn't really click with me until Carol figured it out. Them being lesbians, I clocked that before, like, after the book signing.
I kind of had it in the back of my mind the entire time, so I was really proud of myself. The whole, like, long scene that's, like, I think, like, at least like 10 minutes long, I think, at the beginning of the episode, of her, like, you know, flying out and getting cleaned up and everything, because it's also really good commentary of, like, like what you're saying, the interchangeability thing of, like, how, like, she will just stop doing a task and, like, this random delivery driver will pick it up and she'll put on the helmet and get on his, like, little moped or whatever. And it's, like, just in a world of, like, maximum efficiency, like, who is interchangeable, and then, like, okay, we're just watching this one character, like, move through, like, all these different steps. Like, what is special about this individual? Like, that's where it was, like, the whole time it's like, oh, she's like the. And then when it was true, I was so happy. Sam,
it's on the scene. Just one quick. It's doing three things at once, right? It's really entertaining filmmaking. It's teaching you about the hive mind. And it's presenting a mystery, a very satisfying mystery that you get a solution for like 20 minutes later.
Totally. And also the fun thing about, something that I love about all of our hive mind scenes so far is the silence, like how they don't talk to each other because they already know.
Why do they need to? Yeah.
Oh, chilling stuff. But yeah, I think that their dynamic. Sam, I'm deeply mentally unwell. You know this. We all know this. I like this. I've never been so happy with the dynamic. I love this. I will. This is the best.
Mallory
ship
supports toxic,
ever.
manipulative ship.
Like breaking news. That's my breaking news. It's like Mallory thinks these, like, horrible lesbians are perfect for each other. I just love
Carol X
the
hive
energy.
mind.
Yeah, Carol X hive mind. I love the just, and that's why it's so funny to me that it's like the Bodice Ripper, like, introduction of in episode 1, like, she's writing these, like, trashy novels for, like, you know, straight women or whatever. Like, this is that for me, like, this show, because it's like watching, like, it's like she has to fight against her morals because she's so beautiful. Is just
Listen, if I'm in this scenario, and this is also a funny Vince Gilligan quote, which is like he originally had this in mind for like a male character, and he's like, oh, it gets really porny very fast. I think I'm definitely, first 2 or 3 weeks, I'm probably leaning more on the Kumba side of things. Is that morally wrong? Yes. Is that just like, is that human nature? Also maybe a little yes. Like, I feel so bad for Carol because she's being perfectly manipulated. Like, it's not fair. But if the person you dreamed of showed up at your front door and said, I'll do anything you want. Oh my God, that's so toxic and scary, but also fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think maybe that's why it appeals to me so much, that I feel like I would fight fucking so hard to not.
Right.
I would just,
but then what if you give in? It's delicious.
Exactly.
I use the word delicious, Mallory.
That's bad.
I know.
I truly feel like I would be like, go away, send me like just the grossest,
Send
like,
me the ugliest,
thumbhead.
least attractive person ever.
Send me the most like, yeah, like give me just like Mitch McConnell and like and that's the hive mind, and that will allow me to like maintain my like anger or whatever. Because I think it's just, I don't know. And then I think like also in those like scenes, like part of me does relate to the hive mind, because I'm like, I think that
We worked so hard
like,
for this. You should be happy.
we had a conversation like before you went to bed. We were talking with like another one of our friends, and about two different people that I know in my real life. I said, "Do you think I could fix them?" I said that in that conversation. That's just how I
Right.
work. So I think like the like imagining myself in the position of like, and then I don't know, and then I feel like the fantasy of being so beautiful that you make someone's morals break or whatever is good.
Right.
I think it's just a good dynamic that I really enjoy in fiction, but yes, I really love it.
Right.
I think it's good. And
It's juicy. Her going to
when
stop the plane is
Yes!
incredible.
Oh my god, when she stopped the plane, I screamed. And then and she's back. I'm like, she really did it. Like, she's falling, she's breaking like her will down, like the fact that she cared, you know.
It's also it's having an effect on us, the audience, as well, because like I felt like a pang of regret when Zoja's getting on the plane and she's in like her costume has changed because she's now like, I'm gonna go serve Kumba, and Kumba wants like women in pretty dresses, and it's
Can I have a reveal?
No, but that's Zoja. Oh yeah, go ahead.
My reveal, because you asked what my costume is, there is a scene where they're having an argument at the dinner table. It's the one where she's making the son like recite the brain surgeon facts or whatever. And all of Kumba's girls are wearing like a like cheetah
Leopard print. I see.
like fuzzy coats. They also I don't have a leopard print like tank top, but like yeah. That's what I'm going for.
Good.
I tried to look as like porn star as possible, because I just like I am the hive mind. Like, we are here to please. Like, I just love it. I think it's fun, and yeah, like you said, I think I love the parallels between like Carol being someone who kind of was like maybe the love of the whimsy in Helen. I want to call them both Carol. Helen being the love and the whimsy in Carol's life, and like the hive mind having the same knowledge and trying to fill that same role. We see what's like different, but just the desperation, the longing, the tension. It's like, oh, it's good. And also,
isn't it funny to think about that Carol in pre turning day was doing what the hive mind did, which is giving the people what they want.
There you go. Exactly.
And think about this.
I think that is also interesting and like indicative of, because you talk like we talked a lot about like, you know, Carol being the last remaining American and approaching things from a very American perspective, not having the family perspective, that kind of thing. And I think like at the same time, I do feel like there's Kumba, yeah, I'm saying
Kumba,
right?
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. I just have the spelling to go off of.
Like Kumba is a interesting character because on the one hand you have like he very clearly alludes to like poverty and like racial discrimination, which are things that Carol did not have to deal with. That like, you know, all of a sudden he's on top of the world. He's like, I'm gonna busk in this because I've been unfairly denied this my whole life, right? At the same time, his decision to, like, you know, have sex with the hive mind and, like, line me up the most beautiful women you can and, like, have them all dressed in outfits speak to an attitude towards and an understanding of women that is, like, existed before this situation. And I think that, like, Carol, there's, like, a metaphor in there for, like, you know, women having to smile and people please or whatever. Obviously, like, you know, there are men who are in that like circumstance, but it's like she, because of who she is, like maybe understands that dynamic a little bit better, and like how bad it is to like expect someone to be subservient to you. But I think it's like this weird intersection of like not having had anything, like poverty and male entitlement, and then simultaneously like versus like privilege, but also like the
the gender dynamics are not in Kumba's favor. The like wealth inequality are, which means like there's no winning this argument, right? Like his perspective and her perspective, like there's no right answer because this is an unimaginably complicated like moral dilemma, right? That no one's ever had to interact with. But he's at worst shallow, or he's at best shallow. He's at worst like a rapist. Like it is.
But
it's heavy. It's as heavy as you want it to be, but it's also played for laughs a lot. He's a very entertaining character. I hope we see him again, because it is him just being like, look at this.
I love him.
It's the nuclear football. Isn't that cool? Like, that's... listen, I'm not saying Carol needs to, like, live a little, but it is, like... you could have some fun with this, and I know it's a more compelling show because she's not, but, like, there is a bit of, like... Yeah, I'd like to just, like, jet over to the Guggenheim for a second just to be like, oh, it's the Guggenheim.
The way he's like that Guggenheim thing, pretty dope.
His energy is deeply entertaining, but at the same time, Carol seeing her get on the plane, I'm in her shoe. It puts me in her shoes in such a great way, where I'm like, no, don't do that, Zsoja. But Zsoja, it shouldn't matter, because Zsoja is just all of them. But I'm in real time with Carol being like, no, but that's Zsoja. Like, it's so weird.
No, like it's impossible to kind of like not start to humanize like these individuals that you're seeing, even though like the real Zsoja, like people have said, like, like she could have not been a lesbian, she could have not spoken English, she could have been a lesbian.
Yeah.
She could have not been a lesbian and just not been into Carol. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's
and that's
like,
before we get into the like, you can feel Carol, despite herself, turning her into an individual, right? And we, the audience, are doing that. And that's before we even get into the other layer of, like, is she having an effect on Zsoja? Is Zsoja becoming more independent? Like, I assume that's going to continue to evolve throughout the season, and it is, like, like, Zsoja as character beyond Hive Mind is just a fascinating concept. Like, is interacting with the unicorns having an effect on the members of the hive mind that like meet and talk with them, and how would the hive mind react to that, and what does it mean?
Like, are there differences? Like, I saw some people react to, like, because there's all the family members sitting around the table, like, are there differences between these family members that are continuing to be treated as the same people? They're being continually treated as family members. Like, are they perfectly behaving the way that they would behave before? How much cognitive dissonance is truly there for the people who like were their family, like other than Kumba, who's like, finally my robot bimbos. Like, I feel like everyone else is like, like the way you see them, that's what's like, they're all sitting around the table and they're not really talking to each other as much as they're just talking to their family members, right? It's like,
it's like they're like actors in a play. And the most fascinating interaction to me is the like, hey, how would you do this medical procedure, young boy? And he hesitates, and it seems like he's hesitating because the Pluribus is running the calculation of, how do I answer Carol's question and not hurt my mother, who is going to be like upset by the fact that I know this? And you see like, it's just another example of them like throwing the Pluribus a curveball, where it's like, how does it make that decision? And it seems to be making the decision kind of on a whim of like, well, I have to answer Carol, even though it's going to upset Laxmi. And so it's interesting.
No, totally. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I think I mean, there's obviously the concussion thing happens at the end of episode 3, so it's like there's a potential that could be another factor of like how Zsoja might be like knocked into the psychic glue might loosen. on her, but
Right.
like I think there's also part of me thinks like the sci-fi is gonna be more interesting if like we think she's getting disconnected, but she isn't at the end of the day, and we're just like it's like showing how easily, because that's how like like ChatGPT and like these kinds of things like really they speak to you like a person, you know what I mean? And it's like
And they get better over time
it's
at it, right?
and they're like increasingly like you can humanize them, and we as humans just like to humanize. Like I'm surrounded by plushies, they're alive, they have names, you know what I mean? Like we as humans, that is a human thing to like just put an identity onto something that isn't a human, and like interpret things in a human way. Like it's just, and then also like, oh man, we're getting away from the. But my end note on the toxic Curie thing was like, I feel like it's not going to go in this direction. But man, like the one side like giving in to like love, while the other side is like disconnecting from the hive mind. That would be my perfect like fanfiction version of this. But I don't know that that's necessarily what's going to happen. I do also think though. Oh, sorry. Unless you have any.
I have zero like in terms of what's going to happen next. Like the only thing I kind of feel is like I could see a season 1 ender thing being Zoja being more independent of the hive mind, and that being like not a twist, but like that being like the stinger for season 2 or what have you, of like what does that mean? But it could go in 1,000 million. They could do that next episode, and that could just like the show's moving like a little slower with episode 3, which I saw some scuttlebutt complaints about, but it's also like it's still like so. I mean, the entire world's like fallen in an episode, so like there's so it could continue to go at like a crazy pace, or it could continue to go like as a more like deep character study exploratory pace. I'd be happy either way. I'm so excited to watch the next few episodes. I cannot wait to see where this goes. And also, just heads up, Mallory, the show got a 2-season order, so we're gonna have at least 2 seasons of this show.
Wow. Yeah. Bring him on, baby. I love this. Yeah, just to say, the last thing I was going to say is like it's interesting to me how these things are, even though they're alien, they are fundamentally shaped by humanity, and even some of their most inhuman traits are reflective of humanity. And some of the contradictions there. So like
coddling people or people pleasing or
like those they
assuming you're right.
Yeah. They wouldn't do any of that stuff if it wasn't appealing to humans, and that starts to shape like what they do and what they're good at and what they prioritize and think about. So it's like it's weirdly a reflection, and I feel the same way about like like these like large language models. It's like language learning, whatever like
who cares, they're lame.
It's like they are like weirdly kind of organic in a way, in a sense, but they're fundamentally shaped by human desires and to serve humans. And like when we talk about like, okay, what happens when like Elon Musk is like, well, we got to be first, and does what the people in this show do and like build like the thing that allows them to reproduce themselves and all that kind of stuff, and they take things too far. It's like even in them taking things too far, and even if like humanity gets destroyed and replaced by AI, it's like that it will kind of be like it'll have our like fingerprints and handprints all over it. It's not there's nothing
this
objective
is some classic
about
sci-fi stuff. Humanity is a poison that like cannot help but express itself even in its destruction at times. Man, one day Chimera Antark, it's coming one day. A 50 episode Hunter x Hunter recommendation, because this is kind of weirdly similar to that.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Let me think here. I think I've got the only thing I want to end on is just another dig at like me and like liberal American society or whatever. We turned off all the lights, Carol, but we thought you'd be okay with that. You donated to the Sierra Club twice, so we figured you'd understand. just the absolute fucking skewering of you, of me, of people who shop at Sprouts, which is like a pseudo Whole Foods esque like I'm making the healthy choice and I'm shopping local, but not really.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Imagine that she's like, I can't believe I killed so many people, and they're like, you didn't seem to have a problem shopping at Starbucks during the boycott for Palestine. You know what I mean? It's like...
Well, Carol, we know that you voted Republican in 2004, so we think that you'd be okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, like, it seems like learning about, like, the harsh work conditions of Amazon didn't stop you from buying that vase on Prime
Right.
Day, you know what I mean? It's like...
The Sierra Club, it's such a dig, because it's like, you gotta assume that Carol is, like, a liberal or whatever, and it's just like...
Right.
Life is a constant hypocrisy, and it's just, you gotta, like, laugh at it. And this show knows how to poke fun in ways that are very, very entertaining, while also being scary, while also being horrifying, while also being super fun to think about. I'm pumped. I'm so excited, but I'm not allowed to rank this. You have to. So, any final thoughts before we get into the big old the tier lists and what have you?
E pluribus unum. All right, to the tier list.
Okay, that's your my final thought is of the one many.
Sam, you know, you bring me. Here's the thing. This is actually tough.
No, hold on. Here's the thing. You made me watch a goddamn pirate documentary last week, and now I'm just bringing you gold.
Here's the thing, Sam. This show was made for me because I love lesbians and I love pirates, and they gave me a beautiful pirate lesbian. Yahar. I think that it's a little tough to rank because we don't have the full season. Mm-hmm. But it's really good. Like, the trajectory right now is absolutely clear, right?
It's going to the moon, baby. It's like, I am so pumped.
If I don't see women kissing, I might want to move it to deluxe, but I can't. It's so good. It's an amazing show.
Mallory, they're sitting on the ice bed watching the Northern Lights together. And yeah, Carol's probably a bad partner, but it's so sweet. And it's
yeah, no, it is really sweet. With the way she like leans into her, like Helen is so cute. It's really, yeah. No, as I said, it's a tier. It's there. It's good. It's a good show. Ahoy, avast,
ye
willow.
Audience, I want to make it completely clear. I did not know that Mallory had her eye patch ready to go when I made the reference to Blackbeard, Terror at Sea. Maybe the worst thing we've watched on
Watch
this
that
podcast.
episode. We put the most effort into that episode, probably, so I think you should check it out for sure. If you're if you're just tuning in for the first time, I know I recommended Summer Hikaru Died. You should watch Blackbeard, Terror at Sea. I think that's really gonna...
Dude, the full government name, Blackbeard, Terror at Sea. The worst piece of shit fan fiction I've ever seen in my life.
If there's one thing Blackbeard likes, it's gold. And if there's one thing he wanted, it's to be remembered.
All set, Carol. Call us if there's
something you want that's not here. We'll get it to you.
Toot sweet.
Mallory, remind me, what are we watching next week?
Well, it's Husband Hotel Season 2. I kind of spoiled it in the intro, but the last 2 episodes are coming out this week, and baby, I've been trying not to spoil it for you. We're going back to bad TV.
We're just a couple of losers, baby. Whatever the song Keith David played the Arbiter in Halo 2, baby. It's gonna have a lot of cursing, baby.
And a dummy. There you go. That's the real lyrics.
Has-Been Hotel. You know, it could be worse. You could have been like, let's run it back. Blackbeard, Terror at Sea again. We haven't had any repeat views yet, or repeat subjects. But let me tell you, if you do that, We're going straight back to Moneyball. I will kill you.
We're
I will
doing-
end this podcast.
I think we know that we're gonna celebrate Black Bridget's birthday every year. I think that's confirmed. I think we all realize that for sure. But you know, does it have to be with Blackbeard Terror at Sea? Depends on what I can find on Daily Motion. All right, well, that's good.
Have a good evening, Mallory, you son of a bitch.
Oh, have a great day, Sam. We hope this was pleasing for you.